I did not want to be doing a video tonight, but my mind is racing because I keep hearing Black people say they're not voting because they don't like either candidate and that both parties are trash and that the government really wasn't working for them. And I can't get rid of this question that keeps going through my mind. When our ancestors, who, mind you, we are not that far removed from the generation that really fought for our right to vote. My parents were in high school and college, actually junior high, high school, and then some college during the most active part of the civil rights movement. And that was in the late 50s, early 60s. So I want you to think about what was going on during that time. Do you really think the government was working for Black people back then? Do you really think the government was working for Black people when Black people were fighting for the right to vote? It wasn't. They were fighting for the right to have their voices be heard. They were fighting for the right to have a say. They knew the government was trash. They knew the government wasn't trying to make life easier for Black people or even equitable for Black people. And yet, they sacrificed and they fought to have their voices heard, to stand up and be counted. And to hear some of y'all just saying, like, I'm not voting, I don't like either of them. Or to hear some of you with your misogyny and your sexism so deep that you can't even consider that a woman of color, a Black woman who went to an HBCU, you can't consider ever having a woman as president, no matter how qualified she is, because of your sexism. So you'd be willing to sacrifice your voice and potentially put this country at risk again? Like, I really can't. It is mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling because clearly some of you haven't done your history. Like, we are not that far removed from having absolutely no rights. Do you understand? Like, my parents, my dad is 80 and my mom is 78. That is not that far removed. And you have people out here who are just going to waste their vote. You're not even going to consider why the thought of Kamala Harris, our vice president, Kamala Harris, why that frustrates you, why that makes you uninterested, why you're willing to hold her to a standard that you would never hold a man to, why you're willing to hold her to a standard that Donald Trump can't meet. But you're 10 toes down for him because of what, a stimulus check? Like, your soul and your freedom is worth $700? Are you kidding me? Like, you have no idea how lucky we are to be in this era and to have the right to vote. And you literally have a man who is saying he wants to take away our rights by being a dictator. And let me tell you, I used to spend some time on the other side. I used to be conservative. There is absolutely a plan to take over America and to make America a godly nation again. And you can read between the lines what that means. You have a choice. This could be your last choice. But I really want, and don't accuse me of fear mongering. It's the truth, because some of y'all weren't old enough to vote when Hillary Clinton lost. When she lost the election, some of y'all weren't old enough to understand the grief, the shock, and the grief. All you understood was a check came that made your parents happy. There's so much more at risk. And I just need you guys to wake up. Half of y'all that are talking about Palestine don't really care about Palestine. You just hate women. Some of y'all don't care about Palestine. You just want what white men have. Like, can we be real for 1 minute about your intentions? Because I'll be damned if y'all fuck it up again. Seriously. You have no, a lot of y'all that are talking the loudest about why you're not voting have no idea what life was like before that man took office. You have no idea how far we shifted. You have no idea how much we have become a laughing stock in the world because somehow we have equated a man who is a racist who lies all the time, a man who doesn't want to be fact checked. And you're equating him with this highly capable, elevated woman, this accomplished woman. It shouldn't even be close. But some of y'all are so short sighted and so self serving that you can't even zoom out and think of what you are teaching your children, what kind of world you're going to leave your children. Are you serious? And I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. The people who really want to have, if you are a black man who wants to have everything the white man has, you're never going to get it. The system is not set up for you to ever get it. And you're falling right into the trap. Because remember when Kaepernick took a knee and a lot of people stopped watching football, myself included? How many of y'all started watching again? How many of y'all got tired of making a sacrifice for the greater good? People are surprised to hear that I have not watched a day of NFL football since they blacklisted Kaepernick. And if you knew me from my New York days, you know that I was a huge football fan. But I felt strongly about what was happening to this man who was using his platform for good and who took the notes. And some of y'all couldn't even stand not having NFL in your life. And you want to talk about like how bad we've gotten in America? Like you want to talk about racism in America? You're not even willing to give up football. So I just had to have, I was not planning on saying any of this, but I had to, like, the fact that DeSantis could have gone to high school with me is crazy because I'm like, how are you this hateful when we grew up in the same era? We grew up in the post-civil rights era. I just found out that a guy that I used to really be close to is going around telling his students that slavery was necessary. Are you serious? Like, we got to get it together. Those of you who are going to throw your vote away by voting for a third party, you are voting for Trump, essentially. You are. If you are that upset with the government, you need to get involved. You need to show up and vote in the local elections. But some of y'all just want to come out every 4 years and play the contrarian. And the thing is, it's not just me that's going to suffer. It's you and it's your children. Like, shit's going crazy, you guys. And I don't understand why I'm still hearing people saying they're not going to vote. Like, I've never rage cleaned before, but y'all keep on and my house is going to be tip top.